Hello, and welcome to Horror and Monster Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at Hammond Sculpt's life-size Hellraiser Chatterer bust. Now this is bust number 5 that he did, so let's go ahead and spin this around and take a closer look. So let's go in for a closer look. Now he has a pretty decent Chatterer sculpt going on here. And there is some decent paint work here as far as the shading and mottling and vein work that's been done. We're going to start at the top of the head and work our way down. And coming through the eyes, and we have some nice gloss wet paint app in here for where the eyes would be, and also in the ears. We'll come down here to the mouth, and the mouth is kind of a disappointment to me. It is just a whole lot of red. There is not much coloring in here. It's very rare that you see Chatterer's mouth just completely red. There is no enamel coloring on the teeth, which you would expect to find. Also, there is no shading on the gums. Obviously, you'd have a lighter shade here, and then darker as it goes up, and then lighter on the pulled parts of the flesh or the gum. So that's kind of a disappointment. It's just red. That kind of, it's not that great. Come back through here, we'll take a look at the wiring. Now I will say though that he has done a good job as far as the hooks in the mouth and getting that pulled lip look, which is very well done. I like that. The wire used is could be better done, and I'm not even sure if it's wire. It's very soft. I almost think it's like a solder that he used and cut up. Then back here, the way it's twisted off, I don't remember Chatterer looking like that. I think it was cleaner. I could be wrong, but it just looks off to me. Another thing that looks off is the way that this is spread open. Obviously there's a deep laceration back here, but the way the hooks are in the back of the head, you'd really expect this flesh to have some pulling in those areas, and it's just open as if like there's a uniform pressure opening up and exposing the flesh underneath, but the skin isn't pulling where the hooks are, and that's kind of, I don't know, it seems off to me. You wouldn't really expect to see flesh being hooked and pulled when it's torn open like that, looking like that. And we'll come down here to the bust sculpt. There's not a whole lot going on here, just black, and I believe that there were some other hues used in the movie. I think even some like maybe purples or blues, but really dark. We do have a decent sculpt here, but this portion right through here looks a little odd. See this? I feel like that's supposed to be part of the uniform, but it just looks like a mistake in the casting. And speaking of mistakes in the casting, there is a whole lot of air pockets that were in the casting. See all these white spots in here? Those are all air bubbles that he didn't thoroughly paint black. And normally they wouldn't really show up so bad, but when you don't paint them, it kind of shows up a lot. So that's kind of disappointing. Like there's some big ones back here that again just just aren't painted. I'm gonna pull back. So let's look at what it looks like underneath the bust. All right, so underneath the bust, obviously we have just the raw casting of it. Again, this is a resin. He has his number 5 here on his signature on it. The problem is that he just doesn't bother to paint the inside of this thing, which is kind of disappointing because it's exposed when you put it on a stand, which it doesn't come with a stand, so that kind of sucks. So let's take a look at it, how you see it when it's on a stand. So on the shelf, unfortunately, you see this white lip that is unpainted on the bust, which just obviously is not super desirable. And I feel like it would have just taken him a few seconds to go ahead and paint that. But unfortunately, it's all exposed, and it just doesn't, I just don't understand why he didn't paint like 2 or 3 inches up in here. It just kind of looks, well, it looks bad. All right, guys, so that's about all there is to go over on this piece. Now, normally I wouldn't be so critical of an artist, but he recently nearly tripled the price of his pieces. I say recently, probably about 6 months ago, or a little bit longer than that. 6 to 9 months ago, he about tripled the price. And that really put off a lot of us collectors, especially those of us who were trying to get a Hellraiser series from him. Originally, he sold these busts, like this bust and like the pinhead bust, at about the $400 range. Now they are well over double that, and the workmanship has just not gone up to match the prices. This is not a $1,000 bust. It's not even close to that. The finished work on it, the materials used, it's just not. $300 to $400, yes. Anything more than that, no. And it just really sucks for those of us that bought into the line, and then trying to complete the line, he now sells, you know, pieces at, you know, close. Some of them go up to like $1,500, which is outrageous for this. It's not silicone with hand punched hair or like any details like that. This is a very simple bust. There's no acrylics here. It's just resin cast, and there's really no justification for that. And he's really kind of pushed away a lot of people that were kind of into what he was doing. And it shows now when he lists stuff on Etsy. It just sits there for a while, and a lot of times he'll have to discount it and bring it down, which is kind of unfortunate. So instead of looking at this as a $300 to $400 piece, let's think about it in the price that he currently sells it, which is astronomical. Judging it on that, the teeth are way too bloody. The whole mouth as a whole is just too red. There's no actual enamel work on the teeth. There's no shading in there or anything like that. It's just hit hard with red. You know, he doesn't take the time to paint the inside lip underneath the bust, which you see, especially if it's on a higher shelf, you see a lot of it. And that's just, I just don't understand it. Also, at this price range, he doesn't include any kind of stands, which is kind of crazy that, you know, if somebody's paying $800, $900, $1,000, $1,200 for a piece, that you don't include a $15 stand, is kind of beyond me. You get very inconsistent results from him. This one, the mouth is not finished great at all. I have seen better ones from him, and it just kind of sucks for those of us that get one that's like, not a whole lot of effort was put into it. I got this because I wanted a full set of Hellraiser busts, and I can't stay in his line. The value is just not there, and what I will end up doing is selling this as soon as a better one comes along, which has for me Gary Tunnicliffe, did me up a Chatterer bust, and I absolutely love the job that he did it, and he charged me about 1/3 of what Hammond sells this bust for, which is crazy, crazy, crazy. So I know I'm rambling on, but you know, on this channel I try to be, you know, impartial and give people a heads up about what they're going to get and what I feel on a piece. You may completely feel different than this, and that's perfectly fine. I know people that have some of his busts like Leatherface and Lost Boys, but they love them. A lot of us collectors though just feel way different on that, and he's kind of tarnished his name in the community. Now if you bring up his name in a thread or something like that, you get, I mean, there's a lot of negative thoughts and feelings about Hammond, and which really sucks because, you know, he's young, he had a lot of talent, has a lot of talent, but you know, he just, I think he got too big of a head, and it's a real shame. So as always, feel free to leave any questions or comments. I'm curious as what you guys think about Hammond Sculpt and this Chatterer. Again, judge it as a $1,000 piece and not as a $300 or $400 piece. And think, you know, would you want to pay that much money for this? I definitely don't think so. And it really sucks for, again, like I have like his pinhead, and there was some kind of missing paintwork on that, and I called it out, and you know, somebody, like I think on the video, had said, you know, go easy on the little guys, which is fair point, and I did, you know, at $400. But when the little guys think that they're big guys, and you know, they charge this much for a resin bust with no acrylics or anything, it's just, I don't know what to say. But I'll be happy when this thing leaves my collection, to be honest with you. So I will leave you with some studio shots, and which brings up another point to Hammond. He is very good with his shots where it looks good in the pictures, and then you get it and it looks completely different. He also tends to hide the bottom of the bust, so you're kind of left wondering how it's finished off. But I will leave you with some studio shots of this guy. You can get him to shoot pretty good, but just in natural light in your collection, it's just really lacking. As always, feel free to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos. And until next time, I will see you guys later.